Hello YouTube, my name is Nathaniel and you're watching me Gente. On this episode we're talking to writer Ron Stallworth about his book Black Klansman. I hope you enjoy. This is the last segment and this was a pleasure to talk to you, Ron. Thank you for being a trailblazer. If you have time, because you have other interests other than this. You have two other books that are published, and one talks about rap music, and you have a very different perspective about rap music compared to other officers. If you would like to elaborate.
Well, gangster rap music specifically. I wrote two books, Bring in the Noise, the sociological implications of gangster rap music, and Bring in the Noise, Gangster Reality Rap and the Dynamics of Black Social Revolution, and then Gangsta Code, the sociological implications of gangster rap music and hip-hop culture. And this was work that I started after I ended up in Utah, where I ultimately retired in 2005. This was work that I began because I was working street gangs. I was responsible for getting the first gang unit started in the state of Utah. And Utah was unique in the late 80s. We're talking 88, 89, and through the 90s. It was unique in the sense that we had everything that Los Angeles had in terms of gang culture with one small twist. Most of our problems were coming from members of the white-dominated Mormon church. They were calling themselves Crips. They were calling themselves Bloods. You name the gang, the major gang, gangs out of Chicago, they were identifying with some of them in some cases. But a lot of these kids were white or Polynesian, members of the Mormon church. We also had our complement of Hispanic gang members and black gang members, Asian gang members. But a focus of ours was coming from kids affiliated with the Mormon church. Very conservative religion, very conservative people. It was a unique situation. No one in the country could believe me when I was calling them up asking for information on how to deal with gang issues. And they would laugh and say, well, you don't have gang problems up there. You got those crazy Mormons. Yeah, but my crazy Mormons are emulating your black gang members out of South Central Los Angeles, or your Hispanic gang members out of the barrio of East LA. We had to learn how to deal with this problem in its unique way. And when I would talk to these kids, I would ask them, what do you know about being a Crip? What do you know about being a Blood? Their response was from the rap music we listened to. Now, I'm a product of the 60s and 70s. Graduated from Austin High in 71. For me, the music back then was Motown, James Brown, Stevie Wonder, that type of stuff.
Supreme. Soul.
Rap to me was crap, literally, till I started listening to it and focusing in on it, paying attention exactly to what these kids were saying and how they were going about putting word afflictions, articulations in process and whatnot. And it became fascinating. So I basically put my thoughts down on paper. I wrote about a 10-page article, basically for my benefit more than anything else. Little did I know that there were cops around the country who had an interest in what I was doing. So I expanded that 10-page paper and expanded it into 120 pages and wrote my first book at that time called Gangster Rap, Music, Culture, and Politics. It was never put up for sale. But then I started getting invitations to gang conferences around the country to talk about this phenomenon, if you would, because no one else in the country was looking into it. So over time, I ended up writing 3 other books. The 2 that I mentioned were published, and we were able to. You're never going to eliminate gangs in any society. but we were able to get on top of the problem and keep it from exploding like it did in L.A. The gang issue in Utah that I worked on is one of the things I'm most proud of in my career because we started from scratch. We had to learn as we went along. We were fighting an uphill political battle at every level of municipal, state, and county. And I was right in the thick of it from the very beginning. When I left Utah to move back to El Paso in 2016, I was proud of the fact that the gang unit that I started had been in operation for about 25 years at that point, and is still going strong.
Well, Ron, I would like to finish with your hat that you've brought us today. You told me you had a message. If you would like to tell us the message, go right ahead.
Well, this is a hat that was given to us by the office of Congressman Beto O'Rourke. It basically says the border makes America great. That is my counter message to that idiot in the White House who is trying his best to condemn this part of the country and the people that make up the character of this part of the country. If I were so crass, I'd probably extend a digit of mine in his direction, but I figure this is a more subtle way of doing it, and hopefully the message will get received by your viewers, and they will get a understanding of how proud we are here along the border in our community, how we don't need him and his likes trying to dictate to us in terms of putting up a stupid wall. The border's fine.
Well, thank you for saying that, because I agree with you. The border is fine. And that's why we have this show, because there's no one representing the Southwest. So I'm trying to create an avenue for influential people from the Southwest to express themselves. I think it's much needed. So I just would want to thank you for being here, Ron. This is my first episode. Thank you guys for sticking through. You're watching Mi Gente and listening to Mi Gente. I'm Edward Nathaniel.
I got friends who would die for me, who would drive around town and catch those vibes for me. 60 miles, swerving to the next party. Invitation, only for local ties. I got the rest of my night and I got the least rest of my life. Random text from the ex saying, why you still hitting up